Close your eyes. November 28th, 2012. Block number 210,000 is mined on the Bitcoin network. At that exact moment, the reward for mining a block drops from 50 Bitcoin to 25. No announcement, no press release, no human decision required. The code that Satoshi Nakamoto wrote 3 years earlier simply executes exactly as designed. At the time, Bitcoin is trading at $12. Almost nobody outside the crypto forums is paying attention. But 1 year later, Bitcoin hits $100. Whether the halving caused that rally or it was just timing becomes a debate that the crypto world will be having for the next decade. The halving is one of the most unusual monetary experiments in the history of money. Every 210,000 blocks, roughly every 4 years, the rate at which new Bitcoin is created is cut in half. Not by a central bank, not by a vote, by mathematics written into code in 2009 that no one can override. By 2140, the last Bitcoin will be mined. The total supply will stop at exactly 21 million. Not one more. Satoshi built this in deliberately. In a world where every central bank can print more money whenever it wants, Satoshi designed a currency where scarcity is guaranteed by math. What happens to the price of something when the supply slows down and demand keeps growing? That question is at the center of everything. This is the story of the Bitcoin halving, why Satoshi designed it this way, what has happened to Bitcoin's price in the months before and after each one, and whether the pattern holds, or whether the fourth halving in April 2024 will be different. As you open your eyes, prepare to step into Chapter 1, where we begin to unravel the question, why does the halving exist? In 2008, amidst the turbulent waves of a global financial crisis, a mysterious figure known as Satoshi Nakamoto introduced a revolutionary white paper. This document outlined a novel form of money, Bitcoin, a decentralized digital currency. It was a time when trust in traditional financial institutions was eroding rapidly, and the need for an alternative was palpable. Satoshi's vision was not merely about creating digital cash, but about establishing a form of money that was immune to the whims of centralized control. Central to this vision was a concept as old as time: scarcity. Much like gold, Bitcoin was designed to be finite. Satoshi set Bitcoin's maximum supply at 21 million coins, a decision that would forever shape its narrative. This scarcity was built into the very code of Bitcoin through a mechanism known as the halving. The idea of halving is elegantly simple, yet profound. Every 210,000 blocks, or approximately every 4 years, the reward for mining new Bitcoin blocks is cut in half. To grasp its significance, consider the analogy of mining for gold. Imagine if every 4 years, the amount of gold extracted from the earth was systematically halved. How would that affect its value, its perceived scarcity, and those who toil to extract it? This was Satoshi's ingenious solution to mimic the deflationary nature of precious metals within a digital framework. On January 3rd, 2009, the Bitcoin network came to life with the mining of the Genesis block. With it came a reward of 50 new Bitcoins, a sizable sum for a currency then worth nothing. Fast forward to November 28th, 2012, the first halving occurred at block height 210,000. The reward was halved from 50 coins to 25. The implications were both immediate and far-reaching. The daily influx of new Bitcoins was reduced from 7,200 to 3,600. This engineered scarcity would drive narratives and influence markets in ways Satoshi might not have fully predicted. Yet, the rationale behind the halving extends beyond mere scarcity. It is a cornerstone in ensuring Bitcoin's security and decentralization. By gradually reducing the reward, Satoshi aimed to balance the incentives for miners, who are the backbone of the network's security. Miners validate transactions and maintain the blockchain, and their rewards need to justify the cost of energy and hardware. With each halving, the focus subtly shifts from block rewards to transaction fees, which, in theory, should sustain miners long term. This transition was a calculated gamble, one that continues to unfold with each passing halving. The story of the halving is also deeply intertwined with the philosophy of Bitcoin as a deflationary currency. In contrast to fiat currencies, where central banks can print money at will, Bitcoin's supply is capped and predictable. This predictability fosters a store of value narrative, akin to digital gold. For many, Bitcoin represents a hedge against inflation, a refuge in a world where monetary policy is often a tool of political leverage. Bitcoin's halving mechanism didn't just materialize in a vacuum. It was born out of decades of cryptographic and economic theory. The 1990s saw the emergence of early digital cash systems like DigiCash and B-Money, each grappling with the challenges of digital scarcity and trust. Satoshi's genius was in synthesizing these ideas with a public, verifiable ledger, the blockchain. By embedding scarcity into the protocol itself, he created a self-regulating monetary system, immune to human error or manipulation. As we delve deeper into the rationale behind Bitcoin's halving, we encounter the human stories that animate this digital currency. Consider Hal Finney, one of the earliest adopters and a key figure in Bitcoin's history. Finney was the recipient of the first Bitcoin transaction from Satoshi himself. In a forum post dated January 11, 2009, he predicted Bitcoin's potential as a global reserve currency, contemplating a future where each coin could be worth millions. Finney's vision underscores the profound impact of Bitcoin's scarcity and the halvings that reinforce it. The halving also challenges us to rethink value in a digital age. As each halving approaches, the anticipation grows, not just among miners and traders, but within the broader financial ecosystem. The reduction in new supply raises questions about market dynamics, about how price is determined in the interplay of supply and demand. In essence, the halving is a test of Bitcoin's value hypothesis, a hypothesis rooted in scarcity and belief. The psychological impact of the halving is another layer to consider. Each event serves as a reminder of Bitcoin's finite nature, a countdown to its ultimate supply limit. It creates a rhythm, a heartbeat within the network that pulses every 4 years. This rhythm has become a part of Bitcoin's identity, a ritual that binds the community with a shared understanding of its economic underpinnings. While the technical merits of the halving are evident, its cultural significance cannot be overstated. It is a tradition, a moment of reflection for the Bitcoin community. It is a testament to the ingenuity of its creator and the resilience of its adherents. With each halving, Bitcoin not only survives, but often thrives, defying skeptics and attracting a new wave of believers. As we explore the early halvings in subsequent chapters, we will see how these events shaped the market, influenced price behavior, and attracted media attention. The first halving in 2012 went largely unnoticed by mainstream media, yet it set the stage for Bitcoin's dramatic ascent. By 2013, Bitcoin's price surged from $12 to over $1,200, a manifestation of the market's growing recognition of engineered scarcity. In the end, the halving is as much about human psychology as it is about digital economics. It encapsulates a belief in the future, a trust in a decentralized system that promises not just financial emancipation, but a new way of understanding value. As we conclude this chapter, let us carry forward this inquiry into why the halving exists. In Chapter 2, we will delve into the first halving, November 2012, and witness its effects on Bitcoin's fledgling journey. This pivotal moment marked the beginning of a new era in Bitcoin's history, laying the foundation for everything that followed. The first halving of Bitcoin took place on November 28, 2012, at block height 210,000. This event marked a significant moment in the history of cryptocurrency, a subtle shift in the digital landscape that would ripple through the ecosystem. At this point, Bitcoin was still a niche interest, largely confined to tech enthusiasts and libertarians intrigued by the idea of a decentralized currency. Before this pivotal date, the reward for mining a Bitcoin block was 50 coins. After the halving, it dropped to 25. This was more than just a technical adjustment. It was a deliberate move to control the supply of Bitcoin, ensuring its scarcity over time. The decision to implement halving came from Satoshi Nakamoto, Bitcoin's mysterious creator. By constraining the supply, Nakamoto sought to mirror the scarcity of gold, a commodity that has historically been used as money. Bitcoin's initial block reward was intentionally set high to incentivize early adopters, who were crucial for the network's growth. As more blocks were mined and Bitcoin's market matured, reducing the reward became necessary to maintain scarcity. In 2012, Bitcoin was valued at around $12 per coin. Many in the financial world dismissed it as a passing fad, yet there were those who saw its potential to disrupt traditional finance. The first halving passed quietly, without the fanfare that future halvings would attract. Despite the initial lack of attention, the halving had a profound impact on Bitcoin's price trajectory. Over the following year, Bitcoin's value surged, reaching over $1,200 by late 2013. This dramatic rise captured the attention of investors worldwide, introducing Bitcoin to a broader audience. The reduction of daily new Bitcoin supply from 7,200 to 3,600 coins contributed significantly to this price increase. With fewer new coins entering circulation, scarcity increased, and demand began to outpace supply. As Bitcoin's price rose, so did interest in its underlying technology. The principles of decentralization and a fixed supply resonated with those disillusioned by traditional financial systems. The initial success of the Bitcoin halving mechanism set the stage for future events. This innovative approach to monetary policy continued to draw attention, both from potential investors and critics. For the burgeoning community of Bitcoin miners, the halving was a reminder of their pivotal role in the network. Miners verify and record transactions, securing the blockchain in exchange for block rewards. The halving meant miners would receive fewer coins for their efforts, prompting discussions about the viability of mining operations. Some feared that reduced rewards might lead to a drop in network security, while others believed that increasing Bitcoin prices would offset the reduced block rewards. In the years following the first halving, mining became more competitive. Miners invested in more efficient hardware to maintain profitability, leading to the rise of large mining farms. These operations, often located in regions with low electricity costs, became central to Bitcoin's infrastructure. The first halving showed the world that Bitcoin's design could withstand scrutiny and adapt to changing conditions. This resilience was a testament to Nakamoto's foresight, laying a foundation for Bitcoin's future growth. As anticipation built for the next halving, scheduled for July 2016, Bitcoin's community expanded rapidly. Forums and online discussions buzzed with speculation about the impact of the upcoming event. Investors and enthusiasts debated whether the historical price trends around halvings would repeat. This growing awareness marked a shift in how the world viewed Bitcoin and its halving events. No longer was Bitcoin merely a curiosity. It was a legitimate financial instrument with a unique economic model. As 2016 approached, the question loomed: would the next halving continue to propel Bitcoin upward? The world watched with cautious optimism, eager to see how this innovative form of digital money would evolve. By exploring the first halving in depth, we see the early stages of a financial experiment unfolding. Bitcoin's rise from obscurity to prominence was marked by strategic decisions embedded in its code, decisions that would carry it through future halvings. The economic backdrop during Bitcoin's first halving was one of global uncertainty. Traditional markets were still recovering from the 2008 financial crisis. Central banks implemented measures like quantitative easing to stimulate economies, prompting concerns about inflation and currency devaluation. Bitcoin emerged in this context as an alternative, sparking the imaginations of those seeking to hedge against economic instability. Its fixed supply and decentralized nature offered a stark contrast to fiat currencies subject to inflationary pressures. As we prepare to delve into the second halving, the stage is set for exploring how these events shape not only Bitcoin's market, but also our understanding of money's future. Join us as we continue this journey into the heart of Bitcoin's economic design, a journey that is far from over. Through each halving, Bitcoin has demonstrated its resilience and capacity for change, capturing the attention of investors, technologists, and anyone intrigued by the possibilities of decentralized currency. With each block mined, the narrative of Bitcoin becomes richer, more complex, and undeniably fascinating. As we turn our attention to the second halving and the chapters that follow, we continue to unravel the story of Bitcoin's rise and the role of the halving in shaping its destiny. As we turn our attention to the second halving and the chapters that follow, we continue to unravel the story of Bitcoin's rise and the role of the halving in shaping its destiny. It is July of 2016, and the Bitcoin community is abuzz with anticipation. 4 years have passed since the first halving, an event that quietly yet profoundly impacted Bitcoin's trajectory. Now the world of digital currency braced for another pivotal moment. The second halving reduced the block reward from 25 coins to 12.5. This event occurred at block 420,000 on July 9, 2016, precisely at 4:46 p.m. UTC. The anticipation surrounding this event was palpable, a testament to the growing awareness within the cryptocurrency community. Unlike the first halving, which passed with little fanfare outside niche circles, this event captured the attention of a broader audience. The second halving was marked by a notable increase in media coverage, reflecting a transformation in public perception. Bitcoin had matured in the eyes of many, evolving from a curious experiment into a legitimate financial innovation. The marketplace, now more aware, responded to the halving with a mix of excitement, caution, and speculative fervor. For individuals like Andreas M. Antonopoulos, a prominent advocate and educator within the Bitcoin space, this moment was significant. Andreas had been educating audiences about Bitcoin's potential and its revolutionary implications for years. The halving offered a tangible example of Bitcoin's unique monetary policy in action, an opportunity for many to witness firsthand how the system was designed to function. The price of Bitcoin before the 2016 halving was around $660. In the months following, Bitcoin's price began to climb, a trend observed after the first halving as well. By December 2017, Bitcoin reached an all-time high of nearly $20,000, illustrating the considerable impact of supply constraints on market dynamics. The second halving event coincided with the growing influence of institutional players entering the cryptocurrency space. Major financial institutions began to take Bitcoin more seriously, studying its potential to disrupt traditional financial systems. This period saw an increase in the establishment of cryptocurrency exchanges, facilitating greater access for everyday investors and institutional traders alike. Mining operations, the backbone of Bitcoin's decentralized infrastructure, also faced new challenges and opportunities in light of the halving. As block rewards halved, miners had to confront tighter profit margins. Innovative approaches and cost-saving strategies became imperative to sustain operations. Mining pools grew in popularity, allowing individual miners to combine resources and share rewards, thus stabilizing income in an increasingly competitive environment. Among the miners affected was Marco Streng, the co-founder of Genesis Mining. Based in Iceland, Genesis Mining had carved out a niche by offering cloud mining services, allowing individuals to rent mining capacity from afar. For Marco and his team, the second halving was both a challenge and an opportunity, prompting them to refine operations and explore more efficient technologies to maintain profitability. This period also witnessed significant technological developments within the Bitcoin network. The implementation of the Segregated Witness (SegWit) protocol in 2017, proposed by Peter Will, aimed to address scalability issues. This protocol improved transaction capacity and reduced fees, addressing some of the growing pains Bitcoin faced as adoption increased. The narratives surrounding the second halving were as diverse as the individuals involved. Some viewed it as a necessary adjustment, an intrinsic part of Bitcoin's design to preserve scarcity. Others saw it as a critical test of the network's resilience and adaptability. For many early adopters and visionaries, the second halving reaffirmed their belief in Bitcoin as a revolutionary force. It underscored the network's capacity to self-regulate in a way that traditional currencies could not. Bitcoin was not just digital money, it was a manifestation of a new economic philosophy, a system impervious to the whims of central banks and policymakers. Yet this period also highlighted the inherent volatility and risks associated with Bitcoin. As prices soared and corrected, speculators and new investors experienced the reality of investing in a nascent and volatile market. The psychological impact of seeing investments fluctuate so dramatically could not be overstated. For some, it was a time of fortune. For others, a painful lesson in market dynamics. Despite the challenges, the resilience of the Bitcoin community stood out. This moment in 2016 was more than just a technical adjustment, it was a cultural milestone. Each halving brought with it a reaffirmation of principles, a reminder of the values encoded by Satoshi Nakamoto. The community, bound by a shared vision of decentralized financial empowerment, remained committed to seeing Bitcoin's potential realized. The second halving marked a phase of increased professionalization in the Bitcoin ecosystem. Developers, entrepreneurs, and investors honed their focus, understanding that the stakes were higher than ever. This new wave of engagement was crucial, providing both the resources and expertise needed to address the growing demands on Bitcoin's infrastructure. As the landscape evolved, so too did the narratives. The story of Bitcoin, once dominated by tales of cryptographic breakthroughs and ideological battles, began to include stories of personal triumphs and transformations. People from all walks of life found in Bitcoin a sense of hope and new possibilities. Whether it was the promise of financial freedom or the allure of technological innovation, Bitcoin touched lives in profound ways. The second halving was a turning point, setting the stage for greater challenges and opportunities ahead. It reinforced the principles of scarcity and deflationary economics that Bitcoin was built upon. As we close this chapter, we see a network poised for continued evolution, driven by its unwavering community and the relentless pursuit of innovation. With the second halving behind us, Bitcoin's story continued to unfold against the backdrop of a rapidly changing world. Each chapter, each halving, brought us closer to understanding the full scope of its impact. As the curtain falls on this pivotal moment, we look ahead to the third halving, where new lessons await and the story of Bitcoin continues to captivate minds and challenge paradigms. As the curtain falls on this pivotal moment, we look ahead to the third halving, where new lessons await and the story of Bitcoin continues to captivate minds and challenge paradigms. In May 2020, a world gripped by uncertainty turned its gaze to Bitcoin once more. The third halving, an event engraved in the cryptocurrency's DNA, came at a time when traditional financial systems were under unprecedented strain. The preceding months had seen the global economy reeling from the impacts of a pandemic, with central banks initiating quantitative easing measures and governments rolling out stimulus packages. Against this backdrop, Bitcoin offered a stark contrast: a fixed supply and a predictable monetary policy. The halving, reducing the block reward from 12.5 to 6.25 coins, underscored Bitcoin's unique position in the financial ecosystem. For many, the halving was more than just a technical adjustment. It was a symbol of resilience. It reminded the world of the principles set forth by Satoshi Nakamoto in the wake of the 2008 financial crisis. At this juncture, Bitcoin was no longer an obscure digital experiment. It had grown into a formidable asset class, with a market capitalization that had crossed $150 billion. The anticipation leading up to the third halving was palpable. Miners, investors, and enthusiasts alike speculated on its potential impact. Would the supply shock propel Bitcoin to new heights, or would it simply underline its role as a hedge against inflation? Historical precedents suggested a bullish trajectory, with previous halvings having catalyzed significant price increases. However, this halving occurred under vastly different circumstances. The year 2020 was marked by a digital transformation as lockdowns accelerated the adoption of online services. Bitcoin, often dubbed digital gold, found renewed interest as institutional investors began to take notice. The likes of Paul Tudor Jones, a renowned hedge fund manager, publicly voiced his support for Bitcoin, likening it to the role of gold in the 1970s. As the clock ticked toward the halving, Bitcoin's price hovered around $18,800. It was a far cry from the $650 during the 2016 halving and the mere $12 when the first halving occurred in 2012. The anticipation was not just about price. It was about what Bitcoin represented in a world of fiat currencies and mounting national debts. On May 11, 2020, the halving took place at block height 630,000. It was a moment both anticipated and watched by millions across the globe. The Bitcoin network continued to hum, its decentralized nature ensuring that the transition was seamless. For miners, the reduction in rewards posed new challenges. The halving halved their potential earnings overnight, compelling them to scrutinize their operations and efficiency. In the months that followed, some miners, unable to cope with the reduced profitability, shuttered their operations. Others, however, saw an opportunity, investing in more efficient hardware and cleaner energy sources to stay competitive. For the broader market, the effects of the halving unfolded gradually. Bitcoin's price showed periods of volatility, reflecting the tug-of-war between bullish investors and cautious traders. Yet as the year progressed, a clear upward trajectory emerged. By December 2020, Bitcoin had surpassed its previous all-time high, cresting $20,000. The narrative surrounding Bitcoin began to shift. No longer was it just a speculative asset, it was gaining legitimacy as a store of value. Financial institutions, once wary, started to integrate Bitcoin into their offerings. Fidelity, a giant in the financial services industry, launched its own Bitcoin fund, catering to institutional clients. Meanwhile, the story of Bitcoin's adoption by everyday users continued to evolve. In countries like Venezuela and Zimbabwe, where hyperinflation eroded the value of local currencies, Bitcoin provided an alternative means of preserving wealth. Its decentralized nature appealed to those living under regimes that restricted financial freedom. As Bitcoin's price continued to rise, the conversation around its environmental impact grew louder. The energy consumption of Bitcoin mining became a focal point for critics, who argued that its environmental footprint was unsustainable. Yet the industry responded with innovation, exploring renewable energy sources to power mining operations. Through it all, the halving retained its mystique. It was a reminder of the finite nature of Bitcoin's supply, a built-in scarcity that differentiated it from traditional currencies. The world watched as Bitcoin's circulating supply inched closer to its ultimate limit of 21 million coins. In the aftermath of the third halving, Bitcoin's influence on the broader financial landscape became undeniable. Central banks, grappling with the implications of digital currencies, began exploring central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. The People's Bank of China, for instance, accelerated its digital yuan project, a move seen as both a response to Bitcoin and an effort to modernize its monetary system. The dialogue around Bitcoin was no longer confined to tech forums and niche financial blogs. It permeated mainstream media, with major publications and broadcasters dedicating significant airtime to its developments. Yet the essence of Bitcoin remained unchanged, a decentralized, peer-to-peer network with the potential to redefine the concept of money. As we close the chapter on the third halving, reflections abound. It was a period of consolidation and growth where Bitcoin moved further into the limelight. Its journey so far has been marked by volatility and resilience, innovation and skepticism. Each halving, like a heartbeat, pulses life into Bitcoin's narrative. Looking ahead, we approach the fourth halving, slated for April 2024. The environment promises to be different once again, with new challenges and opportunities on the horizon. The world, evolving with rapid technological advancements and shifting economic paradigms, will undoubtedly witness Bitcoin's ongoing evolution. The story of Bitcoin is not just about code or markets, it is about people. Those who believe in its potential to transform the financial landscape, those who mine its blocks, those who invest their hopes and resources. As we stand at the brink of the next chapter, the anticipation builds anew. Chapter 5 awaits us, a future not yet written, but one that holds the promise of discovery, innovation, and enduring questions about the nature of money and value in our ever-changing world. As we turn the corner into April 2024, the world waits, breath held, for the upcoming fourth halving of Bitcoin. The cryptocurrency community, now far from its nascent days, stands on the precipice of yet another significant shift in the network's economic landscape. April 2024 marks not just another halving, but an entry into an era intensely scrutinized and debated. The upcoming halving will reduce the block reward from 6.25 to 3.125 Bitcoins, a momentous adjustment that speaks to the very core of Bitcoin's monetary policy, one that was originally devised by the enigmatic Satoshi Nakamoto, whose identity remains a mystery to this day. This mechanism is not merely a technical milestone, it epitomizes the design of scarcity, echoing the constraints of gold. Each halving serves as a stark reminder of Bitcoin's finite nature, a limit set at 21 million coins. To date, around 19 million have been mined. As the available supply dwindles, the dynamics of supply and demand come under sharper focus. Reflecting on the first halving on November 28, 2012, we remember a time when Bitcoin's block reward dropped from 50 to 25 coins. The event transpired quietly, unnoticed by mainstream media. Yet, it set the stage for Bitcoin's ascent. Within a year, Bitcoin's price surged from $12 at the start of 2013 to over $1,200, a meteoric rise that caught the attention of investors and skeptics alike. The second halving on July 9, 2016, was different. By then, the cryptocurrency world had matured. Bitcoin was no longer a fringe topic. Its community, now larger and more engaged, anticipated the reduction of the reward to 12.5 coins, with a mix of excitement and apprehension. The halving was met with more eyes, more analysis, and more speculation. May 11, 2020 brought the third halving. The world, enmeshed in the throes of a global pandemic, watched closely. The economic uncertainty of that year provided an interesting backdrop as Bitcoin's reward dropped to 6.25 coins. This halving saw Bitcoin come of age against a backdrop of governments injecting liquidity into economies, highlighting Bitcoin's deflationary nature. Now, as April 2024 approaches, the narrative has shifted yet again. Bitcoin is seen not just as a speculative asset, but increasingly considered as digital gold, a hedge against inflation and financial instability. The upcoming halving promises to reinforce this narrative, but also poses challenges. specifically for the miners. Their incentives hang in a delicate balance as rewards diminish. For miners, the halving's impact is palpable. These individuals and organizations who validate transactions and secure the network face a constant battle with operational costs. The reduction in block rewards means they must constantly seek efficiency and innovation to remain profitable. Hash rate distribution, energy consumption, and hardware advancements become even more critical in this context. Take, for instance, the story of a miner like Emily Carter. Based in Alberta, Canada, Emily transitioned from a small-scale operation in 2015 to managing a mid-sized mining farm. Her journey reflects the broader evolution of Bitcoin mining, from makeshift rigs to industrial operations fueled by renewable energy. Emily speaks of adaptation as the key to survival in the ever-evolving landscape of cryptocurrency mining. As we stand at the edge of the fourth halving, miners like Emily are acutely aware of the pressures. The reduced supply of new Bitcoins will inevitably intensify competition. Only those who can innovate and minimize costs will thrive. The broader market also braces for this halving. Historical patterns suggest increased volatility around such events. Speculators, drawn by the allure of a potential price surge, engage in fervent trading. Meanwhile, long-term holders, or hodlers, as they are affectionately named, remain steadfast, viewing the halving as a reinforcement of Bitcoin's core value proposition. This dynamic interplay between different market participants paints a complex picture. Financial analysts debate the implications of Bitcoin's deflationary model. Some argue it could lead to increased adoption as a store of value. Others warn of economic disruptions. Concerns center on how a deflationary currency might interact with economies accustomed to inflationary fiat systems. The halving also stimulates discussions about Bitcoin's future monetary policy. By design, Bitcoin's issuance schedule is predictable. It contrasts sharply with traditional currencies, subject to central bank policies and geopolitical influences. The fixed supply provides a framework that some believe could transform global finance. Yet, it leaves unanswered questions about adaptability and resilience in unforeseen circumstances. As the clock ticks toward April, the stage is set for a convergence of narratives, opinions, and expectations. The halving is not simply a technical event. It is a reflection of Bitcoin's philosophical and economic aspirations. It challenges our understanding of value, scarcity, and the very nature of money. The anticipation building towards the fourth halving is palpable. It echoes through forums, financial reports, and media outlets. Investors and analysts carefully dissect every piece of data, every historical precedent. They look not just for insights into Bitcoin's price trajectory, but for clues about the broader financial ecosystem's evolution. As we inch closer to April 2024, a sense of anticipation lingers in the air. A reminder of the network's humble beginnings and its audacious future. This halving represents another milestone, another chapter in the ongoing saga of Bitcoin. Will April 2024 mark another turning point, one that aligns with Bitcoin's past of price surges post-halving, or will it deviate from the historical script? The answers, as always with Bitcoin, remain uncertain. The thrill lies in the journey of discovery, in watching a decentralized experiment unfold in real time. As we prepare for the halving, we carry the lessons of past events. Each halving offers a glimpse into the future, a reminder of the innovative spirit that underpins Bitcoin. As April 2024 approaches, the world watches, listens, and waits for the crack in the clock inside Bitcoin to echo once more into history. In the following chapter, we'll delve deeper into the halving's impact on miners, where we unravel how these events reshape incentives and operations in the cryptographic minds of our digital economy. In the following chapter, we'll delve deeper into the halving's impact on miners, where we unravel how these events reshape incentives and operations in the cryptographic minds of our digital economy. Bitcoin mining, at its core, is a game of numbers and probabilities. With every halving, the rules of this game are rewritten, the stakes higher, the rewards smaller. Yet the story of these cryptographic pioneers is not solely about numbers. It's a human tale of resilience and adaptation. Imagine, if you will, a sprawling warehouse in Inner Mongolia. The year is 2016, and the air is thick with the hum of thousands of machines, each racing to solve the next block. Here, Zhang Wei, a 35-year-old engineer turned miner, oversees an operation that consumes the same amount of energy as a small town. The second halving has just occurred, and Zhang finds himself at a crossroads. The block reward has been reduced from 25 to 12.5 bitcoins. His business model, once flourishing, is now threatened by diminishing returns. The question before him, like many others in his position, is simple yet profound. Adapt or perish. Zhang remembers the early days in 2010, when Bitcoin was a curious experiment, a playground for tech enthusiasts and libertarians. Back then, a single computer in a dorm room was enough to participate in the network. But with the reward cut in half and competition growing fiercer by the block, the landscape that Zhang once knew has irrevocably changed. He considers the alternative energy solutions: solar panels, hydroelectric power, anything to cut costs and stay ahead. The pursuit is relentless. He invests in more efficient hardware, knowing that to not evolve is to be outpaced by rivals. Zhang's story is emblematic of the broader shift within the mining community. Each halving acts as a catalyst for innovation and efficiency. The third halving in May 2020 brought further challenges. By then, the block reward had been slashed to 6.25 bitcoins. In Iceland, another miner, Sophie Larsson, faced her own test. Her operation, nestled amidst the country's geothermal energy fields, was once the envy of many. Sophie had capitalized on the natural cooling provided by the Arctic air and the abundance of renewable energy. Yet the third halving required even more ingenuity. Like Zhang, Sophie had to reassess everything, from electricity costs to hardware upgrades. She remembers the discussions in late-night forums, the camaraderie among miners exchanging insights, strategies, and sometimes words of encouragement. The halving was not just a technical event. It was a cultural one that bound miners in a shared experience of survival and adaptation. These miners in various corners of the globe are custodians of Bitcoin's decentralized ethos. The halving intensifies the competition, but also strengthens the network's security. Each miner's decision impacts the collective. It's a delicate balance. Higher costs drive some out, while others innovate to thrive. This churn ensures that only the most efficient and resilient operations endure. The emotional toll is not to be understated. The moments of doubt, the sleepless nights spent recalibrating business models, and the ever-present uncertainty of Bitcoin's volatile price. But there is also hope. Hope for the future of decentralized finance. Hope in the promise of a self-sovereign digital currency. For Zhang and Sophie, and countless others, these halvings are more than just economic events. They are personal trials. As we look to the fourth halving in April 2024, miners again brace for impact. The reward will drop to 3.125 bitcoins per block. New technologies, such as advanced cooling systems and more efficient chips, are now indispensable. Scaling operations sustainably becomes critical. The anticipation is palpable. Will Zhang continue to innovate in Inner Mongolia? Will Sophie maintain her edge in Iceland? The global network of miners stands at a precipice, their future ever intertwined with the cryptographic clock set in motion by Satoshi Nakamoto. The halving is not just a test of technical prowess, but a testament to their spirit. As these events unfold, the broader implications for the Bitcoin network and its monetary policy remain profound. The security of the network relies heavily on these miners and their ability to adapt. Every halving sharpens their resolve. The miners' journeys, though fraught with challenges, underscore the resiliency of decentralized systems. The narrative of Bitcoin's halving is as much about individual grit as it is about collective evolution. The cryptographic minds are not silent. They hum with the stories of those who power them, and with each halving, a new chapter begins, unfolding in the global saga of digital currency. As we prepare to explore the market reactions to past halvings in the next chapter, we'll witness the intricate dance of speculation, emotion, and economics that define Bitcoin's market. The world of Bitcoin has always been marked by its enigmatic and unpredictable nature. In the history of financial systems, few phenomena have captured both the imagination and skepticism of the public, like Bitcoin's halving events. Each halving, reducing the reward for mining a block by half, has etched a significant imprint on the market and beyond. After each halving, a pattern emerges in the form of market reactions. The first halving on November 28th, 2012, saw the reward drop from 50 bitcoins per block to 25. This event occurred quietly, garnering little attention from traditional media, but its impact was profound. Over the subsequent 12 months, Bitcoin's price rose from $12 to over $1,200, an astronomical increase that caught the attention of investors worldwide. By the second halving on July 9, 2016, the cryptocurrency community was more prepared. The reward for mining a block was further slashed, this time to 12.5 bitcoins. The anticipation surrounding this event was palpable, as traders and enthusiasts speculated on its potential effects. This halving was marked by a maturation of the market, with more sophisticated analyses and a growing awareness of Bitcoin's intrinsic scarcity. As expected, the price followed an upward trajectory, though less dramatically than the aftermath of the first halving. The third halving, on May 11, 2020, took place under markedly different circumstances. The world was grappling with the COVID-19 pandemic, and economic uncertainty was a dominant theme across the globe. In this context, Bitcoin's deflationary nature attracted a broader audience, including institutional investors seeking a hedge against inflation. The block reward once again halved, now to 6.25 bitcoins, and the price climbed steadily throughout the year, reaching unprecedented heights by the end of 2020. With the fourth halving on the horizon, slated for April 2024, the market's anticipations are tinged with both excitement and caution. Speculation runs rampant, as analysts debate whether the halving is already priced in or if another bull run is imminent. The event is expected to reduce the block reward to 3.125 bitcoins, continuing the trend Satoshi Nakamoto envisioned. As the cryptocurrency landscape evolves, this upcoming halving serves as a critical juncture for both the market and its participants. The impact of these halvings extends beyond price movements. They fundamentally alter the mining ecosystem by adjusting the economic incentives for miners. With each halving, miners face decreased revenue per block, prompting adjustments in their operations. This often leads to innovation in mining technology, as efficiency becomes paramount for survival. The balance between mining costs, network security, and profitability is a delicate dance, one that each halving forces miners to reevaluate. The social and economic implications of halvings also foster profound discussions. Bitcoin's deflationary model, set against the backdrop of an inflation-prone traditional financial system, sparks debates about the future of money. Critics argue that a deflationary currency could stifle economic growth, while proponents suggest it offers a stable store of value immune to central banking policies. These dialogues reflect larger philosophical questions about how societies value money and wealth. Looking back, the halving mechanism showcases the genius embedded within Bitcoin's design. Nakamoto's vision of a finite supply, capped at approximately 21 million coins, creates a framework where scarcity is an integral component. This scarcity is engineered to mimic the natural scarcity of precious commodities like gold, thus appealing to those who value hard assets. The last Bitcoin is expected to be mined around the year 2140, a distant yet inevitable endpoint that frames the currency's long-term trajectory. As we navigate the aftermath of past halvings, individual stories emerge, painting a human portrait of the Bitcoin narrative. Consider the journey of Hal Finney, one of Bitcoin's earliest adopters, who received the first ever Bitcoin transaction from Nakamoto himself. Finney, a visionary in his own right, foresaw Bitcoin's potential long before mainstream acceptance. His contributions to cryptography and his belief in Bitcoin's promise highlight the personal stakes involved in this revolutionary technology. Communities have also sprung up around Bitcoin, driven by a shared belief in its transformative power. These groups, scattered across the globe from San Francisco to Singapore, serve as microcosms of the broader societal impact of Bitcoin. They consist of developers, investors, and advocates, each contributing to the ecosystem in ways that reflect their unique perspectives and expertise. For them, the halving events are not just technical milestones, but key moments in a shared journey toward financial autonomy. The narrative of Bitcoin's halving is as much about its future as it is about its past. As discussions about the implications of a fixed supply continue, they intersect with larger economic trends, such as the rise of decentralized finance and the questioning of traditional banking systems. In this evolving landscape, Bitcoin represents both a challenge and an opportunity, a symbol of potential transformation in how value is created and distributed. As we end this chapter, it's clear that Bitcoin's halvings are more than mere technical adjustments. They are pivotal events that shape both the market and the philosophical underpinnings of cryptocurrency. Looking ahead to the fourth halving in April 2024, the questions remain. How will the market respond? What innovations will arise in the mining community? And how will this event influence the ongoing dialogue around digital currency and its role in the global economy? Bitcoin, a decade and a half since its inception, continues to defy expectations and provoke thought. Its halvings, reflecting the engineered scarcity that defines its essence, punctuate this journey. As we prepare to delve into the next chapter, we will explore the philosophical and economic debates surrounding Bitcoin's deflationary model and its implications for the future of monetary policy. Stay with us as we turn the page to explore the intricate tapestry of Bitcoin's monetary policy and the debates it inspires, a journey that promises to be as compelling as the halving events themselves. Stay with us as we turn the page to explore the intricate tapestry of Bitcoin's monetary policy and the debates it inspires, a journey that promises to be as compelling as the halving events themselves. We delve into the philosophical and economic principles that underpin Bitcoin, a realm where the esoteric intersects with the practical. At the heart of this exploration lies a remarkable question. Can a deflationary currency like Bitcoin coexist harmoniously within the inflationary world of traditional finance? Bitcoin's fixed supply model is as much a statement as it is a technological framework, echoing the voice of its elusive creator, Satoshi Nakamoto. Introduced in 2008 through the now famous white paper, Nakamoto's vision proposed a decentralized currency resistant to inflationary pressures by design. Unlike traditional fiat currencies that can be printed at will by central banks, Bitcoin's supply is capped at 21 million coins. This sense of scarcity is deliberate, a digital homage to gold's finite nature. The comparison to gold extends beyond mere supply, touching upon the intrinsic value that is often debated among economists, investors, and technologists. One of the most significant debates surrounding Bitcoin's monetary policy is its potential impact on global finance. As the world grapples with unprecedented levels of debt and quantitative easing, Bitcoin presents itself as an alternative, a hedge against the inflationary tendencies of fiat currencies. Advocates like Michael Saylor, the CEO of MicroStrategy, argue that Bitcoin's scarcity makes it a valuable store of wealth. In August 2020, Saylor made headlines by converting $250 million of MicroStrategy's cash reserves into Bitcoin, citing inflation fears as a key motivator. This move was both bold and controversial, sparking discussions across financial circles. Conversely, critics point to Bitcoin's volatility as a crucial drawback. Despite its promise of stability in terms of supply, Bitcoin's price has experienced dramatic fluctuations. For example, in December 2017, Bitcoin's value soared to nearly $20,000, only to plummet to around $3,000 a year later. This volatility raises concerns about Bitcoin's viability as a stable store of value. Nobel laureate Paul Krugman has been a vocal skeptic, frequently questioning Bitcoin's long-term sustainability and calling it a bubble waiting to burst. Such opposing views illustrate the deep ideological divide between Bitcoin proponents and traditional economists. The philosophical aspect of Bitcoin's monetary policy also invites questions about trust and control. In a world where financial systems are managed by centralized entities, Bitcoin's decentralized nature challenges the status quo. The halving events, which occur approximately every 4 years, are a testament to the protocol's self-regulating characteristics. By reducing the block reward by half, these events ensure a predictable supply curve, inherently reducing the risk of inflation. The predictability of Bitcoin's supply contrasts sharply with the often unpredictable decisions of central banks. Yet, while Bitcoin's supply is predictable, its adoption and integration into the global economy remain uncertain. Regulatory challenges pose significant hurdles as governments attempt to understand and control the burgeoning cryptocurrency landscape. The United States, for instance, has grappled with a patchwork of state and federal regulations, which often leave businesses in a state of legal limbo. In 2023, the European Union introduced the Markets in Crypto Assets Regulation, or MiCA, aiming to create a unified framework for digital assets. Such regulatory efforts reflect a growing recognition of cryptocurrency's potential while highlighting the complexities of integrating it within existing financial systems. Another layer to consider is the environmental impact of Bitcoin mining, a topic that has gained increasing attention. The energy-intensive process required for mining has drawn criticism from environmentalists and policymakers alike. In 2021, Elon Musk announced that Tesla would no longer accept Bitcoin as payment due to concerns over its carbon footprint, a decision that temporarily shook the market. This incident underscored the necessity for sustainable mining practices and sparked initiatives to explore greener alternatives, such as renewable energy sources for mining operations. Despite these challenges, Bitcoin's adoption is steadily growing. In September 2021, El Salvador became the first country to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender, a move that raised eyebrows worldwide. President Nayib Bukele championed this decision, citing increased financial inclusion and economic innovation as driving factors. The implementation was not without its issues, including protests and technological glitches, but it marked a significant milestone in Bitcoin's journey toward mainstream acceptance. El Salvador's experiment has become a case study for other nations considering similar paths, offering lessons in both the potential and pitfalls of adopting a cryptocurrency as legal tender. At its core, Bitcoin's monetary policy represents a radical departure from traditional economic thought. It serves as both a critique of and an alternative to existing financial systems, challenging assumptions about money, value, and trust. The discussions it generates are not merely academic. They touch upon fundamental human concerns about control, power, and fairness. As Bitcoin continues to evolve, it forces us to confront these questions anew, prompting a reevaluation of what money can and should be in the digital age. Looking forward, the future of Bitcoin's monetary policy remains a subject of intense speculation and debate. While some predict that Bitcoin will become a global reserve currency, others foresee its potential decline as governments develop their own digital currencies. Central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, have garnered attention as a way for governments to maintain control over monetary policy in an increasingly digital world. China's digital yuan, for example, is already being tested in several cities, offering insights into how state-controlled digital currencies might function. As we stand on the precipice of these potential shifts, the role of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies in the global financial system is more uncertain than ever. Yet, this uncertainty is precisely what makes the exploration of Bitcoin's monetary policy so compelling. It invites us to envision a future where the lines between traditional and digital finance blur, creating new possibilities and challenges. In this evolving landscape, one thing is clear: Bitcoin's impact will continue to resonate, shaping conversations about money, power, and technology for years to come. As we close this chapter, our journey leads us onward toward a deeper understanding of Bitcoin's environmental footprint. Join us next as we explore the intersection of technology and sustainability and the innovative ways the cryptocurrency community is addressing its impact on our planet. Join us next as we explore the intersection of technology and sustainability and the innovative ways the cryptocurrency community is addressing its impact on our planet. As Bitcoin and other digital currencies have grown, so too has the scrutiny on their environmental footprint. Bitcoin mining in particular has been criticized for its significant energy demands, prompting a global discussion on how to balance innovation with sustainability. The roots of this dialogue can be traced back to the early days of Bitcoin, when its pseudonymous creator, Satoshi Nakamoto, envisioned a decentralized currency free from central control. This vision, while groundbreaking, did not initially account for the environmental implications that would arise as the network expanded. In 2009, the Bitcoin network was small, and mining could be done on personal computers with minimal energy consumption. However, as Bitcoin gained popularity, the competition to mine new coins intensified, leading to the development of specialized hardware and massive mining farms. One of the first notable shifts occurred around 2013, coinciding with Bitcoin's price surge from $12 to over $1,200. As the value increased, so did the number of participants eager to mine, compelling miners to seek more efficient and powerful equipment. This transition marked the beginning of an era where mining operations required substantial energy resources, often sourced from fossil fuels. The demand for electricity grew exponentially, placing Bitcoin at the center of environmental debates. The conversation around sustainability reached a turning point after the third halving in May 2020. With the block reward reduced to 6.25 coins, miners faced tighter margins, driving them to explore more cost-effective energy options. During this period, a significant number of mining operations began transitioning to renewable energy sources, such as wind, solar, and hydropower. This move was partly driven by economic necessity, but also by increasing awareness of climate change and societal pressure to operate responsibly. Notable figures in the cryptocurrency community have played pivotal roles in advocating for greener practices. In 2021, Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla, publicly announced that the company would stop accepting Bitcoin payments due to environmental concerns, only to later affirm that Tesla would consider resuming once mining reached a more sustainable energy threshold. This announcement stirred intense debate and prompted other industry leaders to reevaluate their energy strategies. Efforts to mitigate Bitcoin's environmental impact have not been limited to individual initiatives. The Crypto Climate Accord, inspired by the Paris Agreement, was launched in April 2021, aiming to decarbonize the cryptocurrency industry by 2040. This initiative brought together miners, developers, and environmentalists to work collectively toward a more sustainable future. The accord encourages the adoption of renewable energy and the development of carbon-neutral technologies. In parallel, some miners have embraced innovative solutions to improve energy efficiency. Immersion cooling, for example, involves submerging mining equipment in a non-conductive liquid to reduce heat and energy consumption. This technology has shown promise in lowering operational costs while minimizing environmental impact. Additionally, the use of stranded energy, electricity generated in remote areas without local demand, has become more prevalent, turning a potential waste into a valuable resource. Despite these advancements, challenges remain. The decentralized nature of Bitcoin makes it inherently difficult to enforce energy standards. Unlike traditional financial systems, there is no central authority dictating the terms of operation, which complicates efforts to implement uniform sustainability measures. Nevertheless, the community-driven ethos of Bitcoin has fostered a culture of innovation and experimentation, driving continued progress toward greener practices. The geopolitical landscape also plays a role in shaping Bitcoin's environmental trajectory. China, once home to over half of the world's Bitcoin mining operations, enacted a sweeping crackdown on crypto mining in 2021, citing environmental concerns among other factors. This policy shift forced miners to relocate, with many setting up operations in regions with abundant renewable energy, such as Iceland and Canada. These relocations have contributed to a diversification of the mining network and a potential reduction in its carbon footprint. While the journey towards sustainability is ongoing, the cryptocurrency community's ability to adapt and innovate offers a hopeful outlook. Projects like Bitcoin Green and Chia, which utilize proof-of-stake and proof-of-space and time mechanisms respectively, highlight the potential for alternative blockchain technologies to reduce environmental impact. These systems are designed to consume significantly less energy than traditional proof-of-work models, presenting a promising avenue for a more sustainable digital financial future. As we look to the future, the balance between technological advancement and environmental stewardship will be crucial. The upcoming fourth halving in April 2024 presents an opportunity to reassess and refine our approaches to sustainability within the Bitcoin network. It challenges us to harness human ingenuity in service of both innovation and the environment.